Hi guys, I'm Torsten Malm, tattoo artist specializing in realism. Today I want to talk about a little bit of a different way of mixing your gray washes. It's not so common. Many people do an actual gray wash or they do an opaque gray, but there's also a middle way of doing it, and which is creating a quite an interesting effect. So let's take a look at that today. For that I'm gonna be showing how to mix the colors with super black and using mixing white. We're actually gonna show two different ways of creating a very smooth gray wash today. So guys, let's go check it out. So guys, let's take a look at creating a few small adjustments to your gray washes, which will create quite an interesting effect. So if you haven't watched my chapter about how to do your own gray washes, go check it out. The link is below. Because as we're now diving into this way of creating slightly a different gray wash, we're starting off from where we ended in the creating your own gray washes chapter. So we now have 5 different washes and a black here, which we have created. One way of creating a semi-transparent actual gray, we're not talking about an opaque gray, but a semi-transparent gray, which creates a very interesting middle ground between opaque grays and actual gray washes. So it creates a more airy feeling, but it's still a gray, not a black wash or an actual gray wash. So the way we do that is I use this snow white mixing, which is not an opaque white. It is actually a watered down white, so it doesn't have as much pigment as a strong white. But yeah, I use this to fill these 3 caps that are here. Let's fill them up. And yeah, as said, this one is called Snow White Mixing from Intense. So the way to do this semi-transparent gray is just to use these gray washes and dip in the gray wash and then dip in the white, and you get like a semi-transparent, I would say like approximately 50% transparent gray, and you get rid of most of the redness that you usually get with gray washes, but you don't get that super solid gray. So it's a middle ground between gray wash and opaque grays, and it's a very interesting feel. And you can play a lot around with, maybe using even gray washes and the semi-transparent and true opaque grays in the same picture to create different feelings for different things. We're going to talk more about that in another chapter, so stay tuned for that. Now I want to show you one more trick which creates for an even more transparent gray. I would call it an actual gray wash, not well, it's my word for gray wash, because for me this row of blacks here is an actual black wash. We have black ink diluted. Now if we want to create a gray wash, the only thing I'm gonna do here is just add 1 drop of this snow white mixing in each cap here. 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop. But I'm not gonna add 1 drop in the black because it's not necessary. I want that black to actually be black. Now, if you watch the series about how to create these gray washes, you probably know that we have to mix these inks also to actually get that pigment mixed in the cap. So we take a standard sterile long needle, we open it up. Now there's many ways of mixing these inks, but I think this is one of the most effective ways. Then we use this loop for mixing the ink. This loop. And we start from the lightest wash because we don't want them to get darker than what they actually should. Now make sure to really mix it in there. but now you're actually going to start seeing more about these tones actually. But even if they seem very dark, remember that they are extremely watered down. So there's not a lot of pigment in these lightest caps. Keep stirring around and make sure that it's actually properly mixed in there. And so we go through every cap. So great, now the colors are mixed, the pigment is mixed, and we're ready to go. So this transparent gray will be almost like a gray wash. It's just gonna be slightly softer and really nice to work with. It's definitely not even a semi-transparent gray, it is a transparent gray. And it's a very interesting approach to doing gray wash. I think you should try it out, and it really smoothens out those grays. So try it out on your own, and let me know in the comments below how it worked out for you, and I'll see you here next week.